Hey, what's up, guys? We're back again for another week of the MMA Prediction Breakdown Show, and this week we're going to be doing UFC Calgary. We did pretty good last week. We won our Parlay of the Week again in the most confident pick, but I'm going to go over that tomorrow when I do the Dana White Contender Series video. So we're just going to jump right into the UFC Calgary card. And the first fight of the night, I'm going to say sorry to these guys right off the bat because I actually forgot about this fight when I was doing tape studies. I don't have a lot of super technical stuff to add here, but it's Devin Powell gets Alvaro Herrera. I think it was added late on the card too, but not much to say about this fight. Both lost 2 in a row in the UFC. Alvaro Herrera, I do remember that he has some pretty big power, but his jiu-jitsu is just not up to par. I remember he got who was that? Someone got him in a Von Flue choke, I believe. And then, Jordan Rinaldi got him in one. And then for Devin Powell, he really just has not showed much in the UFC. When he fought Jakar close, he didn't really do much. Same thing with Daryl Horcher. But he's apparently, someone that has some pretty decent jiu-jitsu, but doesn't really have the wrestling to get it down. So I guess I'm going to go with Alvaro Herrera by first round knockout, but like I said, that's not a fight that I think most of you guys are going to be super intrigued by anyways, but that's my analysis for that one. And up next we had Randa Marcos against Nina Ansaroff, and this is actually a pretty good fight. It's not a it's pretty high level for a women's fight, and Randa Marcos is someone who's just a real good professional, solid pro. She's a tenacious fighter, very good cardio, keeps a steady work rate throughout the fight. She has that hands-low style. She likes to hang around on the outside, exploding with blitzes. She uses her front hand to gauge the distance, tries to stay loose with it, tries to, kind of hide when she's going to throw a snappy jab or come in, try to grab a single or double leg. She uses a lot of lateral movement, but she doesn't really set anything up off of it. She usually just comes forward in straight lines. She has good straight punches and hooks coming forward. She'll definitely walk through punches to eat her own. That's one of her best strengths. She's tenacious. She's willing to eat shots, close the distance, get in the clinch, go for the takedowns. She'll work in the clinch against the cage. Has no problem grinding you out there, but she really lacks physicality at times. She can get taken down or controlled against the cage. She has good body locks, doubles, and we'll go for hip tosses. On top, she does a good job. She gets in dominant position. She lands some decent ground and pound. She doesn't have super good top control, though, and people can get up from bottom on her. Off her back, she actually isn't bad. That's probably one of the best aspects of her game. Good job of scrambling, good dexterity in her legs. She can take the back in odd positions. Good job of when she wins in a scramble, she'll immediately get in dominant position. She won't really let her opponents work, won't let them rest. And her greatest strength is she's going to keep that same pace and pressure the whole fight. You're going to have to beat her to win. She's someone who's going to, give 100% max effort, and I believe that she gets 100% max out of her abilities and athleticism, but I don't think she'll ever be a top 5 fighter. And Nina Ansaroff, someone I kind of like as a potential contender, not, winning a title, I don't think, but I think she's pretty good. She's a cleaner striker, more technical, nice jab, good hard leg kicks. Her leg kicks are heavy. She really hurt Angela Hill and Jocelyn Jones-Lybarger with her leg kicks. She is a bit flat-footed, but she's shown improvements in her lateral footwork in her last fight. She is better when she's taking the center of the cage moving forward. She'll back you up with front kicks to the body, come over the top with hooks. She has a great chin, eats shots without even registering them. She really, I haven't seen her rocked or hurt or really look like she's worried by any shots she's taken in the UFC. She has a decent high kick. She has good footwork in the pocket. She can angle off, land a hard shot. She does a good job catching you coming in with punches if you're closing the distance aggressively. She can land nice quick flurries inside. She was doing that to Justine Kish. She has nice hooks, good uppercuts in the clinch. She's a Taekwondo black belt, and she shows it at times. She has some spinning kicks to the head, to the body. She's physically strong for the division, does a good job of denying the clinch, angling off. She has decent takedowns herself, and on top she's good. She has good transitions, will work for the rear naked choke. She got one rear naked choke against Justin Jones-Lybarger. And In the Justine Kish fight, she got tired in round 3. She was taken down, controlled in the ground multiple times in that fight. And she can't let Randa Marcos get inside, work against the cage, go for the takedowns. She needs to be the one going forward herself. She needs to cut Marcos off when she's using that outside movement, stay in her face but at her own range. She needs to make Marcos pay when she tries to get inside, disengage. And for Randa, she wants to make this a dirty fight. She needs to get in the clinch, grind, take down Ansaroff, outwork her. And if she can get on top, she could possibly be able to control Ansaroff, win the fight that way. Overall, I believe Ansaroff's going to win this fight, though. She's the more well-rounded fighter, the better athlete. She's trained with better coaches, better teammates there at ATT. Her and Joanna, I'm sure, have been getting some work in. They're both fighting on this card, both at 115. Obviously, she works with her girlfriend, Amanda, so she should be ready to stop the entries of Randa, keep her on the end of her jab and the leg kicks. And I'm going to say Nina Ansaroff takes a decision there, but Randa Marcos is someone that's always tough, always comes to fights, so definitely going to have to earn this victory in that one. And up next, we're going to what's going to be my most confident pick of the night, and that's going to be Matheus Nicolau to beat Dustin Ortiz. And this is a great fight. I'm really high on Matheus Nicolau. I honestly think he's already one of the best flyweights in the world. And he's 24 years old, extremely composed in the cage, super sound defensively, great lateral footwork, always keeps his guard high, great movement and slips as well. He barely got hit against Luis Smolka, completely nullified another guy that's a beast in John Moraga. He has a great overhand right-left hook combo he likes to throw when you get close, and really makes guys gun-shy to close the distance. He'll throw a great jab to the body and to the head. He'll throw a nice left hook to the body and to the head as well, and never allows himself to get backed up against the cage. Has tremendous distance control, nice leg and body kicks, does a great job exploding into combos, getting out. Definitely has great sprawl, fantastic takedown defense, good takedowns himself, great double leg, very nice snatch single leg. He's great on top. He works with a mount, has heavy ground and pound. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And, I just think that he's just overall just a great athlete. He's someone that you could just see through his motions, the way that he moves, that he's just an elite level fighter. And, Dustin Ortiz is a grinder. He's near the top of the division for years now. He's always a tough out. He's definitely gotten much better with his hand speed and defense on the feet. He's also starting to mix in some solid leg kicks, though with more power. He had the fastest KO in flyweight history versus Hector Sandoval. And his bread and butter, though, is still definitely his grappling. He's a tenacious wrestler. He'll try to get you against the cage, chain together, takedown attempts, get you to the ground. On top, he's heavy, has some solid ground and pound shots. He has good scrambles, grinds people out. Good cardio. He's hard to finish. And he's only been finished one time. Dustin Ortiz is good. I really think that he's good, but I just think Matheus Nicolau is elite. I think he's a tier above. I think he's going to be too good at catching Ortiz coming in, keeping him at range. I think Ortiz is going to be tough. I think he's going to continue to try to grind, but I just think he's going to be ineffective. I think he's going to be getting really pieced up, and I'm going to go with Matheus Nicolau by 30-26 decision in that one. And like I said, that's going to be it's definitely going to be my most confident pick of the night for this card. And up next, we have a pretty fun fight, or I don't know about fun fight, but we have another fight with Alexis Davis against Caitlin Chookagian. And this is pretty good matchmaking. Alexis Davis is a wily veteran. She has quite the resume in MMA. She's beaten people like Valerie Letourneau, Amanda Nunes, Tanya Evinger, Liz Carmouche, Jessica Ai, Cindy Dandois. She's definitely beaten a lot of good fighters. And Caitlin Chookagian's a striker with a good record. She's 10-1. She has some pretty notable wins as well, over Irene Aldana, Lauren Murphy, Sajara Eubanks. So this is going to be a striker versus grappler matchup, really, even though Alexis Davis is, not the worst striker herself. But Chookagian's going to try to stick and move and counter on the outside, while Davis is going to try to close the distance, get the takedown, in my opinion. Davis is a little slow and plodding. She doesn't have great striking defense, doesn't move her head. She's there to hit, but she's a dog, man. She likes getting hit. She'll take shots. She goes to war. And great chin, good kicks from the outside to the legs and body, but she's a bit stiff. Her hands, aren't great, but she will try to land the jab right hand. She will try to, get upper body clinches, get in the fence, work the knees. She has good control in the clinch and double underhooks. But Chookagian's actually pretty solid, landing knees, pushing off and disengaging there. And Davis will not shoot for takedowns much, but she's very good at catching kicks. She'll take you down that way. She has a good ground game, does a good job of getting to the mount, landing shots. she sometimes can get caught in your guard and be inactive on top, and I actually think she's better off of her back. She's a great guard. She'll go for the high guard, land hard elbows to the head, and then try to get arm bars or triangles. She had a good arm bar and almost caught Liz Carmouche a couple times with it. She does a good job of getting the triangle position, sweeping a full mount. And she slows down as the fight goes on, but she knows how to push through. She's good at surviving when she's hurt. And, just the typical veteran that's tough to put away. And she's older. She's starting to slow down a bit. And Katlyn Chookagian's a point fighter. She's out of Renzo Gracie's team. Trains with Mark Henry and them down there in New Jersey. And she does a lot of throwing at air. She's one of those fighters. She'll throw a jab, right hand, front kick, question mark kicks. But a lot of it are just a little out of range. Good technique, but just out of range. She'll throw a high volume of shots out there. She is dangerous when she does find her range. She showed that against Liz Carmouche in the third round. She was able to start landing her nice jab, long straight right hand, nice head kick. She dropped her with the head kick. She showed she could be dangerous when she find her range. She has good takedown defense, does a good job defending and disengaging from the clinch. Lands nice knees there. If she does get taken down, she will work hard to get back to her feet, but her get-ups are kind of so-so, and she only has a so-so guard, so she can't get controlled off of her back, and I'm kind of worried that may happen in this fight. She does have great cardio. She's never been finished. She does have her one loss is to Liz Carmouche in a fight that she was kind of being taken down. She will need to be on her bike in this fight, not throw any blind kicks, keep the volume high, land more shots than Davis. Even if you're just throwing more shots, just appear more active, and keep Davis on the outside. And Davis is going to want to make this an ugly, grimy fight. Get in the clinch, work some dirty boxing, try to take down Chookagian. And, I think Chookagian will win the stand-up battle. I think she's going to have her footwork going. I think she's going to have her takedown and clinch defense on point. And I'm going to go with Katlyn Chookagian by unanimous decision in that one. But, that's a pretty close fight in my opinion. And I'm next to John Makdessi against Ross Pearson. And, this is a pretty fun fight. I think that both these guys are a little bit similar. This is a matchup between two strikers who are a little long in the tooth, in their careers now. But Ross Pearson's more of a technical boxer, while Makdessi's a black belt in karate and taekwondo. And Makdessi is a bit of a bad stylistic matchup for Pearson. Pearson struggles with fighters with good movement, people that can throw kicks, keep him at bay. But he is back at Alliance, so maybe he's working with better people there. And I know Makdessi's now training at Rufus Sports, so both guys are in a great camp situation. And Pearson's a counter boxer. He likes to work behind a jab. Good head movement. He'll slip and return with the jab right hand or the right cross. He's good at lunging straight punches. He's, great at slipping and ripping in the pocket. And if you give him the game he wants, he's still not bad. He can get caught with overhands. He can get caught with knees and kicks due to a slipping in his chin. Is going, but if you want to get in that pocket with him and play a boxing game, then Ross Pearson can light you up. He did snap a 4-fight losing streak in his last fight, but he even got rocked in that fight against Herrera, and his chin just doesn't look the same these days. He has great takedown defense, and his style is just sprawl and brawl. He doesn't check leg kicks. He just eats them, tries to counter back, and Makdessi's fast in and out. He can kick fluidly moving backwards, so I think that'll be a problem. And Makdessi looked solid versus Trujillo, actually. He was quick, had good punching blitzes, good speed with his in-and-out movement. He has great time with his counter straight right hand. He dropped Abel with it. Good kicks to the body, good kicks to the leg. He'll throw some nice taekwondo kicks, spinning kicks. And, this fight could be a boring staring contest. Both guys do like to counter. But I think Makdessi has more skills, more weapons with his kicks. I think that he's going to be able to keep Pearson at bay, land a little more volume, and I think he might win, a split decision, very close decision that at the end of the fight, Pearson thinks he won, but Pearson just didn't do enough, and John Makdessi landed a little bit more kicks and got the decision in that one. And it is at home for John Makdessi, he's fighting out of Canada, so you have to take that into account as well. And, up next, we have another fight that's going to close my parlay of the week, and I'm going to be picking Godzimura at Antigulov to beat Jan Kuchalaba, but this is going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasts. Jan Kuchalaba is an action fighter, really tries to intimidate his opponents. He gets right in their face when they're announcing the names in the cage. He's done that to Henrique da Silva. He did that to Jared Cannonier. In his last fight, he finished Henrique da Silva in about 20 seconds, but I don't think you can intimidate a Russian like that. I don't think anyone could intimidate a Russian, so he was actually scheduled to fight Antigulov last November, and he got pulled by USADA for blood spinning or something crazy. So, he got like a 6-month suspension. Not really sure what was going on there, but Antigulov's on a 14-fight win streak. He's coming off 2 quick first-round finishes in the UFC as well. So both guys have momentum coming into this fight. For Cutelaba, he's going to want to strike at space in this fight. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't do that. So I don't think this is going to be a great matchup for him, He doesn't really like to strike at space, and I think that's kind of what he needs to do. He's someone who wants to get right in your face from the start, try to take you out early. He has 7 wins in under 1 minute, and another 3 wins in under 2 minutes, and 11 first-round finishes in his 13 wins. He's finished 12 of his 13 wins overall, so he's not much of a decision guy. He will close the distance early with hooks and uppercuts. He closes that distance quickly. He's athletic, good at throwing a counter left hook. He'll rip to the body with the hook. Nice hard knees in the clinch. He has a solid inside leg kick. Big power, and if you don't be careful early, he definitely can put you out. He doesn't use his range well. He likes to strike right in the pocket. Doesn't do a lot of lateral footwork. Good offensive wrestler. Good double legs. Good throws in the clinch. On top, he isn't that great. He'll try to unload with heavy ground and pound, but doesn't have great top control. He can get taken down and seems to not do well with chain wrestling. He was taken down by Jared Cannonier, and Cannonier was able to land pretty good ground and pound and keep Cutelaba on the ground for the whole round. He can give up double underhooks and be controlled against a clinch. And he has some cardio issues. If you could survive that early onslaught, he definitely slows down. He's only 24 years old, and I think he has a lot of raw potential. He's training in Moldova with, Team Cutelaba, whatever that is. So I think he's creating his own camp. And I don't think he's being pushed by the best level of training partners there. I would love to see him come to the U.S., join a better camp, and see what he can do. And Antigulov's a guy that already did that. He came over from Russia, and now he's training at ATT. And I think he's kind of a dark horse in the division. He's a typical Russian fighter, likes to close the distance, get inside, take you down. And he has extremely fast pace, very heavy pressure, nasty straight right hand. He closes that distance extremely quickly with it, fast and accurate. He puts his lights out, doesn't stay out in space long. He'll close that distance, try to get a single leg or get in the clinch. Good single against the fence. He's good on the ground, dangerous with submissions. He's able to catch pays out in a guillotine very early, tap him out. He will try to take the back, get a rear naked choke. On top, he has great control. If he takes Cutelaba down, I think Cutelaba definitely will be in trouble. And this fight's going to come down if Cutelaba can get him out of there early. If he can't finish him in, 2 minutes or less, I think Antigulov will win this fight all day. Antigulov is too seasoned. He knows what he needs to do. Cutelaba has shown poor defensive wrestling, and I don't think he took the necessary steps to correct that. He didn't come over. He didn't change his camp. He's still a big fish in a small pond, and due to that, I'm going to go with Antigulov by second round rear naked choke. And like I said, that's one of my most confident picks of the night there. And up next, you have Hakeem Dawodu against Austin Arnett. And, I kind of started this fight with the impression that Austin Arnett was not a very good fighter, but I came away after the point study with a lot more respect for him. He's a karate fighter, point fighter. He's extremely fast in and out. Great straight right hand. Nice jab. He'll throw long combos if he gets you against the cage. Good front kick to the body. He'll throw question mark kicks, head kicks. He's very accurate, but he's not extremely powerful. He has a problem of doing too much sitting and waiting on his opponents. He lets people walk him down. And, he doesn't get off first, gets into a defensive mode. He has a good chin. He's a tough, durable guy. He got dropped with a body shot in his last fight. He does have poor takedown defense because he likes to attack with a guillotine instead of fighting the takedown. He doesn't have much off his back. He gets cuts with huge elbows. He got cut in his last 2 fights with elbows. He has good cardio, good overall base. If you learn how to throw more and not get walked down, he could be dangerous, man. Like I said, he's very fast closing that distance. Very nice right hand, real piston-like. It's very accurate. And for Hakeem Dawodu, he's a very athletic striker. He got blitzed and finished very quickly against Danny Henry in his UFC debut. But, he's still a striker with big power. He's been fighting at WSOF. And he's beating some solid competition. He had a draw and then a TKO win against Murat Magomedov, who's a beast wrestler. And, he beat Steven Siler, who's looking pretty good, man. It looks like Steven Siler might be the $1 million man in PFL. But he steadily improved his takedown defense, Dawodu, and gets better at drawing, reading your entries as the fight goes on. He'll wear you out with hard body shots. He'll hammer knees to the body in the clinch. Does a good job attacking with hooks to the body. And I think that's kind of a reason why they gave Dawodu this fight, because he is from Calgary. And like I said, Austin Arnett got dropped with a body shot in his last fight, so this is a big thing in his game that they probably saw as a weakness for Austin Arnett. And he has very explosive combinations, and if he gets you moving backwards, he can unload with punch combinations. He has big power in his kicks and was eating up Steven Siler with the leg kicks in his last win. He has good movement, but sometimes he can get hit when he stands in the pocket, throws punches. Doesn't have good head movement. He still needs to improve his takedown defense, but it's already pretty solid. He's a decent grappler. He has good cardio. He can go for all 3 rounds. He'll be looking to bounce back from his terrible UFC debut. And I have more faith in Dawodu walking down Arnett and dominating the fight than I do in Arnett kind of piecing together those holes that he had in his game. So I believe he'll take a decision victory there, if not a finish by body shots. And up next we have Chookagian Johnson against Islam Makhachev. And you know the UFC wants Islam to win this one and get Chookagian out of there. They're giving him another tough matchup here against Khabib Nurmagomedov's protege. And, he's in a precarious position. He's publicly talking shit about Dana White. He's a leader of Project Spearhead along with Leslie Smith. So he has to continue to win to guarantee his spot in the company. And he's won 4 in a row, and he fights in a very safe, point fighting style. He's actually pretty good. I believe he's underrated. He's athletic. He uses good movement on the outside. Does a great job of countering with the straight right. He has a nice head kick. Very impressed with the speed in and out. He gives up cage control. He just lets you walk him down. But he'll throw front kicks to the body, leg kicks, and eventually try to catch you sleeping plant and land that counter right or counter left hand. And he has pop in his hands. He hurt Martins when he slept him with kind of a weird shot behind the head. He does a good job of throwing the front kick if you catch it. Throwing the left hand, dropping you right behind it. He has solid grappling, but Islam has a major wrestling advantage, in my opinion, in this fight. We saw Stevie Ray be able to take him down against the cage with a double leg. And, he returned versus Martins after a pretty long layoff, and he still had that good movement and cardio. He landed the kill shot and won the fight. And he's very low risk. He won't beat himself, He like I said, he can get double legged against the cage. And Islam will be able to hold him down, in my opinion. Makhachev has a 100% takedown rate, takedown defense rate, 86% takedown rate. So definitely is a sick wrestler. And he's a similar pressure wrestling style to that of like Khabib, but I think he's more willing to strike with you. He is more fluid with his movement, throws better kicks. He'll attack with nice head kicks. He has the ability to close the distance very quickly, lands the overhand right. He has big power, showed that against Glacier Tebow. He KO'd him in under a minute. He's also big for the weight class. He wears and muscles guys in the clinch, gets a lot of trip takedowns on top. He has solid control, good ground and pound. He puts big pressure on you. He has refined his striking technique at AKA. Solid kicks, head kicks, body kicks, front kicks to the body. Nice punches, good power in his hands, great cardio. He needs to cut Johnson off against the cage. You can't start following him because that's where Johnson might be able to catch him with a punch. And, go for the takedowns. The double legs gets the cage. Needs to make Chookagian work early. Slow down that movement. And, I think that he will. I think that he's going to be able to cut that cage off, get those double legs, take Chookagian down, and, control him. I think he's going to win a decision 30-27 or 29-28. But, I actually think Chookagian Johnson's a pretty good fighter. I don't think he's a slouch by any means. And up next we have Jordan Meehan against Alex Morono. And this could be a fun fight, guys. I mean, this is going to be a stand-up war. And, Alex Morono and Jordan Meehan are both very good strikers. They both usually don't try to take it to the ground. If anyone were to try to take it to the ground, I'd say it'd be Meehan. But Morono has a nasty guillotine. He has great get-ups. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So I think both guys are going to stand up for this fight. And both guys bounced back with wins in their last fight. They're looking to continue that momentum here. Alex Morono is a Taekwondo black belt. You can really see it in the way he fights. Keeps a wide stance. He has tremendous lateral footwork, offensively and defensively. He'll lead the dance by using lateral movement to cut off the cage, stay in your face, and he can use it defensively as well to circle and angle off, not get hit. He's always aware of where he is in the cage. He would not let himself get backed up behind the warning track. Light on his feet, tries to dart in with leg kicks, high kicks. Solid head kick, good spinning heel kick as well. He'll throw nice front kicks to the body. He can get lazy throwing kicks, sometimes leave his chin in the air. And he stands very tall, and his legs are there to be kicked. And he's also there to be taken down, in my opinion. Doesn't throw much in combination, and and especially with his hands, he'll try to dart in with one overhand right or throw a jab or a spinning back fist, but doesn't put a lot of combinations together. His footwork and ability to cut guys off, keep a pace, high volume of strikes on him is probably his greatest strength. He wears guys down, and he can start to take over late, He showed some pretty clean punching against Nico Price, especially countering. He dropped him twice in that first round, but overall he hasn't shown huge power. He can get wild, start to loop hooks. At times, someone eventually could take advantage of that, but he hasn't looked to work in the clinch or get takedowns much in the UFC, and I believe against Mean that's kind of the way to beat him. And Jordan Mean has had mixed results since his return to the UFC, but looked great in his last fight versus Eric Silva. He's a big welterweight. He's going to have a size advantage in this fight, too. He's very skilled, technical offensive striker, but always had a bit of a problem defensively. He has a piston for a left hand. He's super fast, super accurate. He's able to throw it right down the pipe. He has good power on it. Good 1-2. He'll slip and throw the uppercut. Very good head movement when he's striking offensively. But when he's being defensive, he can get hit with his lead hand low. He can get hit with overhand rights. Morono is good at closing distance, landing that shot, so he needs to be aware of keeping his hands up, not letting himself get hit with the overhand right. And, he has some of the best flick jab in the sport. He'll try to bait counter with the left hand. His left hand is just really nice. He has a nice lead hook. He'll throw the straight left to the body. Does a good job attacking the body throughout the fight. He's extremely dangerous inside with nasty elbows. He has some of the best standing elbows in the sport, in my opinion. And very dangerous in round one. He has won all 3 round ones since his return, in my opinion. He's actually fought good competition, in Emil Meek, Bilal Muhammad. And he's actually had trouble starting fast, getting tired. And that could possibly be a factor in this fight because Morono gets stronger as the fight goes on. Mean has always had more trouble with grapplers being controlled off of his back than strikers. So this is definitely a good matchup for him. He's a better, cleaner striker than Morono and could catch Morono across the distance with a straight left, put him down. He needs to not let Morono hold the center and back him up near the cage. He has to be the aggressor, control the distance. Mean should be able to start quick and early, and I don't see Morono having enough to hurt or stun Mean or take him down. I think Jordan Mean looked great versus Silva. He should have confidence. He's fighting in Canada, gets another striker, coming off a win. And I think he's going to catch Morono early with that straight left hand as he crashes the distance and win via TKO early. So I'm going to go with Jordan Mean by first round TKO in that fight, get a big win, and kind of, re-announce himself in that 170-pound division. And up next, we have Olivier Aubin-mercier. He's going to be fighting against Alexander the Great, Hernandez, who came in with a big bang. He KO'd Beneil Dariush in like 40 seconds, just knocked him the fuck out. And he's an elite-level athlete. You could just tell from the way he moves. Extremely fast twitch, fantastic ability to close the distance, good footwork, does a good job switching stances, cut off the cage. He enters on different angles. Seems to be someone who likes to get his work done early, though. He's always very aggressive. Tries to overwhelm his opponents, get inside, land hard shots, get the takedown. He had a lot of takedowns in his regional fights. He seems very physically strong. Close the distance, gets double legs in the clinch. He could slam or suplex people. He had a nasty belly-to-belly suplex to a rear naked choke combination type thing in his regional fight. I don't think his jiu-jitsu is at the level of OAM, and I wouldn't take it to the ground with him because I think OAM would win that battle eventually. If I were Hernandez, I think Hernandez needs to get OAM out early. The longer the fight goes, I believe the athleticism difference will come less and less, and I think OAM skills and experience will start to shine through. Hernandez is extremely aggressive, but he seems to not care about defense, and someone hasn't hit him with a big shot to make him question coming in so aggressively. And for OAM, he's a big, bulky guy. He now has a great jab, good check left hook. And to become much more technical with the striking, nice power in his punches as well. He could drop you with them. He dropped Drew Dober quite a few times. He can maul you on the ground. Loves to get the back, get the rear naked choke. He can get caught not moving his head. He can get clipped and dropped. But overall, he has solid defense. He had a close win in his fight versus Tony Martin, which he got hurt in the 3rd round, but showed great heart fighting out of a rear naked choke. Tony Martin's another great prospect at 170, OAM, he'll need to slow down the pace this fight, especially early. He needs to get in the clinch, work, try to get a takedown, or just pot shot him from the outside. Just let him wear out that kinetic energy early. And he's much more experienced in the UFC, and he's been training at TriStar, and TriStar's been on an absolute roll lately. You just saw at Nazareth what he did. He put on a clinic, yesterday against Mark Giacchese. And OAM has been on a roll himself. He earned a fast TKO in his last fight. And I'm going to go with OAM by unanimous decision. I think Alexander Hernandez is legit. I think he's a very good fighter, but I'm going to go with the more experienced guy in this one. And up next, we have, the former champ, Joanna Jedrzejczyk, and she's fighting against Tecia Torres. And I feel like we're a little bit spoiled, seeing Joanna on a Fox card. I'm so used to seeing her on pay-per-views, but, it's going to be a treat. I think people give Joanna a lot of shit, man. Like, they're talking shit about her. Like, you're not going to say Rose is the best. I mean, that's just her mindset, man. Like, you could tell that she has to have that mindset that she's the best. She's the strawweight queen. And she handled it perfectly right, in my opinion, to, keep that mindset and keep her career moving forward, because she's still going to be at supreme confidence level, in my opinion, coming in this fight. A lot of people were thinking that loss to Rose Namajunas was gonna, send Jedrzejczyk into a tailspin, and they thought that she was gonna become like Ronda Rousey. She was gonna disappear, but she did the exact opposite. She stood strong. She still wants another fight with Rose, and she's getting right back on the horse and fighting Tecia Torres here. And Torres is coming off a loss to Jessica Andrade, but overall, I actually think both of them had a good performance in their last fight. Rose got pushed by Joanna. It was one of the best female fights I can remember in a long time. And Torres did fairly well against Jessica Andrade. She's just a beast, And pretty interesting element of this fight is Joanna's training with ATT, Torres' former camp or former coaches. And Torres is over there at the 303 training center training with Rose and Pat Barry. So they're both kind of trying to get a little bit of insight on each other, it looks like. And Joanna's a nasty striker. She puts together a combination in the pocket better than almost anyone, man. She has a very good jab, good 1-2 leg kick combination. She likes to finish a lot with her combinations with the leg kick. And she has elite hand speed. She'll attack with a nasty front kick to the body, nice front kick to the face, very nice clean right hook. She can get hit in the pocket as well, if you stand there and you throw at the same time as her. And because she's a little bit flat-footed, but she has nasty elbows, both in the clinch and stepping in. Does a great job at exiting the clinch with a shot, usually a kick to the body. She has incredible cardio, and she builds as the fight goes on. She loses the first round in a lot of her fights, comes back to win. She's gotten much stronger physically with her grappling game. She's going to ATT. Very good takedown defense. Actually very strong in the clinch. Very good get-up game as well. She has been dropped in 4 of her last 5 fights. She took a lot of damage in the Rose fights. And all the 5-round fights may be catching up to her. Between her kickboxing, Muay Thai fights, MMA fights, she had a lot of fights, man. She's taken a lot of facial damage as well recently. She gets like huge hematomas, cuts very easily. And but she does a very good job cutting you off when you're coming towards her, landing nice leg kicks, nice front kicks to the body, jabs to the body. Does a great job, jabbing and moving. Never stands right in front of you. Also does a great job walking you down, landing long combinations, really battering you if you're not answering. And, she used a lot of fakes and feints. She tries to draw your shots out, counter them. She can't struggle when she has to chase, be the aggressor. Rose was able to nullify a lot of Joanna's longer combos by using good lateral movement, coming in on different angles, because Joanna's much more flat-footed Muay Thai style. And Tecia's composed, very patient early on the feet. She gets reads, she's very athletic and explosive. Torres throws hard leg kicks. She has fast, explosive combinations with her hands as well. She likes to slide out of the way, counter with big shots. Tecia's very aggressive in the clinch. She'll throw punches, has some decent pop. She rocked Rose in their fight in round 1. And Torres is good moving backwards and forward. Good lateral movement, brings people into her counters. But she also attacks with explosive combinations moving forward. She can get countered coming inside if you could start to time her entries, because she comes in on straight lines mostly. And I do think her movement is good, and it may give Joanna problems in terms of missing, but she doesn't have the same in and out movement, and she doesn't cut angles like Rose, You could see that in her fight against Andrade, where she was using good lateral footwork. She was able to make Andrade miss, not let her get inside, but whenever she would cross a distance or go for her own strikes, she would use that lead hook or the 1-2, and she was coming in on a straight line. Andrade was able to start seeing that, start landing her own shots, start timing the takedowns, the entries for the clinch off that. But she does do a good job getting her feet on the hip, standing up if you take her down. She has solid takedowns as well and okay top control, but I doubt she'll be able to take down Joanna, and if she does, highly doubt she'll be able to hold her down. And I think Joanna may struggle to find her range very early, but as the fight goes on, I think Joanna will start cutting the cage off better. I think she's going to start landing her kicks, her jab. I think she's just going to be throwing the higher volume of strikes, and I think it's a good fight. I think Atisha could potentially land an overhand and, rock Joanna potentially, but she's never been someone that has big power. And I just think that Joanna's just going to throw more volume, win the battle of attrition here, and I think it's going to be a pretty clear 30-27 decision, and the champion's going to get back in the win column in that one. And up next, we have a fight that I'm really looking forward to, man. Jose Aldo against Jeremy Stephens. And I really think, this is a fun fight between a guy who's surging and a guy who's on the decline. Jose Aldo, he's been finishing 3 of his last 4 fights, while Stephens won 3 in a row, and he's coming off of 2 brutal KOs back-to-back in 2018. And, the guys Aldo has lost to, though, are arguably the 2 most talented featherweights ever. In McGregor, Holloway, you could argue that Brian Ortega's up there. You could also argue that Aldo is up there. And this is Aldo's first 3-round fight in his UFC career, so that just shows how elite he is, All his other fights have been 5-round fights. And, for Aldo, he's someone that's going to be much quicker in this matchup, in my opinion. And I just think he's a beast, man. I think there's a misconception that his skills are dropped, and I just disagree with that. He's still as fast as ever. Tremendous head movement, really nice jab. And I think his ability to take his shots, which is diminished a bit, but not totally, Against Max Holloway, it was more of a prolonged accumulation of shots that took him out. And Aldo has a nice left hook. He great fakes and feints, likes to fake that overhand and come over the top of the uppercut, or come over the top of the overhand and come under with the uppercut. And he's still one of the fastest fighters in the division. He makes many opponents freeze and wait on him because of the fear of getting hit in return. And his defense is incredible. His jab stops people right in their tracks. He has some of the best leg kicks in the MMA history, Just ask Uriah Faber about that. He really battered Uriah Faber's legs. He's thrown much less kicks recently, though, in his fights, and I wish he would go back to that. Renato Moicano had great success with leg kicks against Jeremy Stephens. His slips in the pocket are incredible. He has some of the best head movement in the UFC. Very disciplined defensively. He'll never get overbalanced or off balance or overextended. And he could sometimes get hit with the overhands if you could close the distance. And I'm worried Stephens could potentially end his night with one. He is flat-footed and really relies on his speed and quickness with both his defense and his hand speed. When that starts to go, I think Aldo would drop drastically, but don't think it's gone yet. He's only 31. He has the best takedown defense in MMA. He won't even let you get into clinch against him. He's a black belt in BJJ, but doesn't really use it. He slows down as the fight goes on, but I'm not really worried about that with the 3-round fight. And people that have been watching for a while know that I've been riding with Jeremy Stephens so far in 2018, and he's been delivering, He has been in the UFC since he's 19. He's 31 years old now. He's shown the best form of his career, and he's just a beast, man. He has one of the best highlight reels you're going to see, 18 KOs, and he's just a vicious finisher in the cage, Improved feints and footwork over his career, but he's still trying to find that heavy right hand most of the time. He will time uppercuts on takedown attempts and slump you like he did versus RDA. He also will attack with nasty flying knees when you attack with takedowns, KO you like he did versus Dennis Bermudez. So definitely is very dangerous. And he started to integrate a much more dangerous kicking game. Massive leg kicks. He showed that against Gilbert Melendez. Very nice head kick KO versus Hani Jason. He has a great chin. He's only been finished 1 time in his career. And he likes to cut you off, wait for you to attack, throw hard hooks to catch you coming in. He'll throw nice body kicks, try to cut you off, keep you against the cage. And he's just going to be at a severe speed disadvantage in this fight. I think that may be a big factor. He still sits down a lot on his shots, swings heavy. I think Aldo will be landing, being gone for the counters all day, Don't think that Stephens could be able to, bait him in and land those counter hooks. And if Stephens can hurt you, though, he's an amazing and brutal finisher. He's some of the best ground and pound in the sport. He broke Josh Emmett's face in his last fight, which just a brutal finish. And he has a puncher's chance here, but I just think Aldo's technically far superior. He's much faster. And if he can avoid getting hit with the bomb and finishing these 3 rounds, I think he's going to put on a kickboxing clinic against Jeremy Stephens. I think he's going to be popping the jab, hitting Jeremy Stephens. I think he's going to be, being able to land that counter right hand. I think he's going to land that straight right hand a lot of times. I think he's going to be landing those leg kicks if he wants to. And I just think he's much too fast. I think he would put a clinic on Jeremy Stephens, man. I think if this fight was 2 or 3 years ago, I think Jose Aldo would be like a -500 favorite.
and I don't know what he's going to open at now, but, I really think that Jose Aldo is going to win that fight. And, it was not long ago when Jose Aldo absolutely schooled Frankie Edgar for 5 rounds. So just keep that in mind. And up next you have Eddie Alvarez against Dustin Poirier. And great fight, They've been really talking a lot of shit to each other. And in that first fight was lining up to be like a fight of the year where Dustin Poirier really hurt Eddie Alvarez multiple times. Eddie Alvarez was coming back. He hurt Poirier, was turning into a scrap. So we're going to be really in for a treat. This is actually one of my favorite cards of the year, top to bottom so far. Even though it's a fight night card or a Fox card, it's incredible card, man. And both these guys fought Justin Gaethje in their last fight. Both, showed great heart being able to take those leg kicks. And Poirier, for him, he has that big power in his left hand. He's a stance switcher, but he really likes to stay southpaw. Left hand orthodox jab, really nice left straight. Left kick is really nice as well. He likes to feint. Was really making Eddie freeze up with those feints in his last fight. Those were really nice. When they fought each other last time, he was really doing a great job of drawing out Eddie and just making him gun shy with those feints. But he is hittable, he'll get in a war with you, and that's something that I don't want him to do in this fight because I just think that he's much better on the outside than Alvarez. Dustin Poirier in space had a huge advantage against Eddie Alvarez. The hand speed difference was evident. Poirier was able to land clean, snappy jabs, hard left hands. His straight left hand is a piston, man. Very powerful. He rocked Eddie with it several times. He was able to land short combinations like a right hand to an uppercut in the pocket, and yet Eddie missing wildly at range. Alvarez was able to have more success when it was a dogfight. He has to make it that this time. He needs to get inside, land hard hooks. He needs to be able to know that he has to eat shots to land his own, especially early. I think that Alvarez is going to get pieced up again. And Alvarez really got hurt bad in that fight. I mean, he was almost finished multiple times. And he has that dog in him, man. You never want to count out Eddie Alvarez, especially in those type of fights where it's a war like that. He's came through so many times, man. He's just able to just go into complete zombie mode and just make it a phone booth fight, start to land his hard hooks, and eventually Eddie Alvarez is the one that's finished the guy, and you're just like, what? So never could count him out, but I just think Poirier is going to finesse Alvarez, man. I believe he'll finish him by TKO in round 2. I just think Poirier is better. He's in his prime now. We've seen him grow up as a kid in the octagon. He's 29, training at ATT, which is just a fantastic gym. And Eddie Alvarez is 34. He's been in a ton of wars. Definitely has the more miles on him. Both guys have been in a lot of wars, but I just think Poirier is someone that just looks better, man. He could take shots better as well, in my opinion, at this point in his career. And I'm going to go with Dustin Poirier, and I'm actually pretty confident with that pick as well. I think that the first fight was really playing out in Dustin Poirier's favor, and I don't see why it would be any different in this fight. Eddie Alvarez was going to the body very well against Justin Gaethje, but I don't think he had a speed advantage against Gaethje in the pocket, which he does not have against Dustin Poirier. So, and all right, guys, for the betting tips, for the most confident pick, like I said, it's going to be Matheus Nicolau to defeat Dustin Ortiz, and then I believe that the second leg of my parlay will be Godzimir and Antigulov. So I'm going to do a parlay of the week of Matheus Nicolau and Godzimir of Antigulov, and some things that I like that I think potentially could be good picks are Caitlin Chookagian via decision, or that fight goes all 3 rounds. I really think that fight will go all 3 rounds. I believe that Joanna Jedrzejczyk potentially could be a good bet. I think we could get her at a good line here coming off of 2 losses, whereas, previously in the past you wouldn't get that type of line with Joanna. Like I said, I think Jose Aldo and Dustin Poirier are guys that I really kind of think should get the job done in this fight, and I think that overall this fight card is pretty good for betting. I think there's a lot of spots where you could potentially win money in close fights that have, someone that I think has significant advantages. So, overall, I think this is a pretty good card, guys. And, like I said, I had some pretty big news, for this, video. If you guys know, about Kyle Marley, Big Marley 3, the Top Master on Twitter, he's a great guy, one of the best guys in the business for DraftKings. You could hear him on the Best Fight Picks podcast as well. another one of these type of prediction podcasts. I'm sure you guys know about it. It's pretty big if you're watching mine as well. But, we're going to start doing breakdowns for the fights in written form. So if you go to his Twitter, Big Marley 3, and you'll be able to get some DraftKings write-ups from him. Like I said, he's one of the best guys for DraftKings in the game, so definitely is going to be very knowledgeable, and I'm going to be helping him with his skill breakdowns. So you're going to be getting my knowledge as well. So if you want to get a little bit more, maybe in-depth breakdown or something that you could just physically read, you could have it, then go over to his page, check it out. He's going to be selling them for $7.99, and I think it's a great value, so if you're going to buy them, you're going to be helping yourself out, you're going to be helping him out, you're going to be helping me out, so it's all good, help grow the channel that way. We're going to try to create more relationships, and, it's pretty cool, man. I really have enjoyed doing these videos. I've enjoyed connecting with the MMA community on Twitter. They've actually embraced me pretty well. I haven't even been doing these videos for a year, so for someone like that to reach out to me, give me their stamp of approval, really meant a lot, so appreciate that. Shout out to him. Once again, the Twitter's Big Marley 3, and we're going to be start doing that this week for this card, guys, so it's going to be coming up for this Saturday, so if you want to check that out, want to help us out, that'd be awesome, and it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about it, and please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be coming back tomorrow with the Dana White Contender Series, and I'm going to do a little bit of a breakdown of last week's card, how we did on there. And we've been on a roll lately, man. We've really been hitting these parlay of the weeks, these most confident picks, and really appreciate the community that I've gotten on YouTube so far. So thanks again, guys, and if you help me with this opportunity as well, that'll be awesome. So, enjoy your day, and hopefully we cash these bets.